A very good morning to my dear students of class 8, and I am glad to welcome you all once again to today's botany class. So this is your first class in this term, and I bless you all that God bless you with good health and wisdom throughout this term. So let's get started with the continuation of the lesson called ecosystem. Before the exams we were learning about ecosystem, right? So the continuation of that lesson only we are going to learn today. Today's topic is going to be forest ecosystem. What is today's topic? Forest ecosystem. So there are trees all around the earth, right? We have many trees everywhere. So which particular place do you address as a forest? What is a forest? They have some properties. A forest will have large area of land. If the area of the land is very large and if it has trees, it can be called as a forest, and it should be covered by trees. What is covering? Like many trees continuously you will be having without much empty land. So it should be covered with trees, and it should have a variety of plants. What is variety? It is not that one single type of plant or tree, many in number, but it will also have various types of plants. That is also a property of forest. What else then? It includes both biotic and abiotic components. What is a biotic component? Biotic components means the living things in the world are biotic components. Like a forest will have biotic components like animals, right? Animals of different types are all coming under biotic components. What are abiotic? A means absence. What is A? A refers to absence. So absence of living organisms are called as abiotic components. Those components or factors which does not have life are all called abiotic components. What are the examples of abiotic components? Air is a abiotic component. Water is a abiotic component. So these factors are all abiotic components. Altogether, if you see, in a forest ecosystem you have both living components or biotic components like so many of variety of animals, and as well as abiotic components like air, water, humidity. All you have temperature, they are all abiotic components. So together it will be a mixture of biotic and abiotic components. So what properties we have studied about forest ecosystem? First of all, the land area will be larger, and you will have, it will be covered by trees, like densely packed trees you will have. It will be of different varieties, and also it will include biotic components and abiotic components. These are all some properties of a forest ecosystem. Then the structure of a forest. What is structure of a forest? Here the structure of a forest means how a forest is categorized based on the height. See, you can see different types of trees, right? So based on the height of the trees, the forest can be divided into 5 categories. One is called emergent layer, the second one is called canopy, and then you also have woody vines, and here you have understoried layer and the forest floor or the ground layer. So based on the height of the presence of trees, you can structure a forest. I'll explain, then you will understand better. Say for example emergent. Which is the emergent layer? The topmost layer is the emergent layer. So which type of trees can you see in an emergent layer? Only the tallest trees will reach this layer, right? See here, the tallest tree will cover up to the emergent layer, whereas see these small plants all will not reach the emergent layer. So emergent layer will always include the tallest trees, and since they are very tall, they are the ones which will receive maximum sunlight. What is maximum sunlight? Of course other trees will also receive sunlight, but compared to the other trees, since the exposure is more, the outward exposure is more for the emergent emergent trees, the property of receiving sunlight will also be more for the emergent layer of trees. The second layer is canopy. Which is canopy? This is the canopy layer. This will also have taller trees, but these trees will be less taller, which means they are of course tall, but when compared to the trees of the emergent layer, this will be less tall in nature, and their nature of the trees will be like they spread. See, the trees of emergent layer will be tall and they are not much spread, which means the branches are not spread throughout, whereas the trees which come under canopy layer will have so many branches so that it is spread overall. Can you see? It is spread overall, and whenever there is branches covered, what it will result? It will result in shade. It will create shade for the plants which fall below this canopy layer. So the next layer is woody climbers. What are climbers? Vines, all you know, no? Say for example grapes, all they are vines which can climb about, no? Similarly, the trees which have the tendency to climb about will come under woody climbers. Can you see here some climbers climbing around? So they are climbers and they can reach even up to the emergent layer, which means though they start from the ground level, they can reach in the upper layers and they will receive the sunlight for their growth. You know, sunlight is a very important criteria for the growth of plants, no? It is a very important factor for photosynthesis. So somehow plants will try to get sunlight. That is the case of woody climbers. And then the next layer is understory layer. So which is the understory layer? This is the understory layer. Can you see? So this region is the understory layer. What you have here? You have young trees and also short trees. Young trees, no, like the younger plants will not grow much before it reaches. It can be a tall tree, but before that in some period it will be short only, no? Initially it will be short. So those will fall under understory layer, and also the shrubs will come under understory layered. And what do you think about their survival? Only the plants which can survive in the shade region, because no, in this understory layer will not get much sunlight because already the canopy trees are widely branched and they do not provide proper sunlight for the plants which fall in the below layers. Okay, so whichever plants can survive in shady atmosphere, only those plants can live or they survive in the understory layer. And the last layer is called forest layer. What is forest layer? It is called the ground layer, which means after the withering of leaves, all the ground fully will be covered of dried leaves or fallen leaves, right? So these fallen leaves come under this forest layer or ground layer. Not only the leaves, the old tree barks also you can found in this layer. So the leaves and the old bark together contribute the forest layer. So whenever you have leaves or barks, what will happen after some time? It will begin to decompose, right? With the help of decomposers or bacteria, they decompose. So decomposers are also found in this layer, that is the forest layer. So the structure of forest includes the emergent layer, canopy layer, woody climbers, understory layer, and finally the forest layer. This you have to keep in mind. Then about the forest, there are three types of forests called as tropical rainforest, temperate forest and boreal forest. What are the three types of forests? Tropical forest, temperate forest and boreal forest. Based on what we have classified into three, this is based on the location where they are found in the globe. In a globe, at some places you have these type of forests. We will be studying in detail in the upcoming slide. First we will start with tropical rainforest. What type of forests they have or where they can be found? These type of forests are found above the equator. In geography you must have studied, right? The equator, this is the equator in the globe, and above the equator and between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. So above the equator you have this dotted line which is Tropic of Cancer, and below the equator you have one more imaginary line. All of these are imaginary lines. They do not really, nobody has drawn lines on the globe, right? It is an imaginary line just to categorize the portions of the globe. Like below the equator you have Tropic of Capricorn. So between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, and above between the equator, like above the equator between these two regions, wherever you find forests, those forests will come under the category called as tropical rainforest. Why it is called as rainforest? As the term suggests, in these places you can find abundance of rain, which means more rainfall is present in this area. Rainfall of greater than 200 centimeters of rain you can find in these areas, and these forests are called as tropical rainforest. What about the flora and fauna in this type of forest? What is flora? Flora means the plants available in that area, and fauna means the animals available in that area. So these forests will have certain trees called rubber, ebony, mahogany and sequoia. Okay, so these type of trees are present in tropical rainforest, and apart from the trees there are also smaller plants which include orchids, mosses and ferns. All these names you have to memorize, the name of the forest and what plants are abundantly present in this type of forest you should be knowing. And what about the animals present in this type of forest? You can find monkeys, bats, gorillas, parrots, jaguars and hornbills. You have a very big list in your textbook. You can just go through it and try to memorize the names based on the type of forest. Clear? Just the location you should know, and also what type of plant is present, what type of animal is present, you have to study. Clear? What is the next type of forest? Mainly these classifications are all based on where this type of forest is present. What about temperate forest? It is found above the tropic region. So above the tropic regions only you can find the temperate type of forest, and these temperate type of forests are again of two types called as deciduous forest and evergreen forest. What is the meaning of deciduous? See, all these you must have studied in your geography, I guess. But anyways, deciduous forest will have trees which will shed their leaves every year. Like in one season of the year, every year they will shed their leaves and again new leaves will form in that plant. So if they have the ability to shed their leaves, then it is called as deciduous forest. So deciduous forest shed their leaves every year, and evergreen forest is opposite to deciduous forest. It will never shed. Of course they wither. After growing old they wither, no? Every leaf will have a lifespan. After that it will fall down. That is different. But these deciduous forests will shed all of their leaves once in a year. But evergreen trees will not shed their leaves. So the flora, that is the plants present in deciduous type of forests include maple, birch, elm, shrubs and grasses. And also evergreen trees include oak, fig and laurel. So these will not shed their leaves, and these will shed their leaves every year. And what about the fauna? Usually very cold bearing animals only you can find in above tropic regions. Okay, those animals which can bear the very extreme cold climate conditions will be present in these type of forests. What are they? They include animals such as mountain lions, animals, the lion which can live in the mountain region, and koala bear, and squirrels, black bear, and birds such as bald eagle, barred owl, pleated woodpecker. These are all just types of woodpeckers or eagles or owls. Nothing interesting in that. They are just types of owls or eagles present. So these list of trees and birds and animals also you have to learn. Okay, and mainly you should know to differentiate deciduous trees from evergreen trees. So this is about temperate forest. And the last type of forest is boreal forest, where you can find these type of forests four regions are given in your textbook, like the forests of Canada, the forests of Siberia, the forests of Mongolia and the forests of Russia will include this type of forest called as boreal forest. The speciality about this type of forest is they will have cone bearing plants with needle shaped leaves. So in this area all more number of cones, see this is the cone, right? So cone bearing plants they will be having. So these are also, this type of forest is also called as taigas. What is it called? Taigas is the other name for boreal forest. What is the plant present? Already I told you, they are called as coniferous plants. Why? Because they can produce cones. So what is a coniferous plant? Coniferous forest means a forest will have coniferous trees, which means a plant which can bear cones. Such a structure, if some plant can bear, then it is called a coniferous plant. What are the examples? Pine plant, fir plant and spruce plants are examples of coniferous plants because they all produce cones. Generally cone bearing plants will have these needle like leaves. They are not like the normal leaf shape with leaf blade all. They appear like needles. So needle like leaves. And what are the fauna present? There is a very big list given in your textbook. I have listed some of them called wolves, foxes, deer, bear, grizzly bear, moose, chipmunks. These animals all. It is not common in our places, some of them. So these are all found in this coniferous type of forest. So with this actually this lesson ends, that is the ecosystem lesson ends. However, in our next botany class we will be revising this level. We will have a revision class and we will just revise because before your term exam we started this one, no? So just we will have a revision again about the ecosystem lesson and then I will give you worksheets and the following week I will give you a small class test also. So for your homework today you are going to do an activity, okay? 3 types of forests you have studied, no? You make a collage, okay? You can do with software or even in Word file you can design, it is up to you. So make a collage of these 3 types of forest which will have different types of animals and different types of plants. So make 3 pictures which will include 3 types of forests, okay, both their flora and their fauna. So 3 images I should give, I should receive. As usual you can send it to my WhatsApp number and the best 3 collages I will display in my next botany class. Okay, so until I meet you in your botany class, you all take care, study well from the beginning of this term. So take care and bye bye.